This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
It's 6:07 right now. The views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL, but you might want to go ahead and like and share them on Facebook, because you're not the choir that Rudy Howard preaches to on Wednesday nights, that's for sure. This is the African American Scene with Rudy Howard.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Always glad to be with you here on Wednesday night. Just a reminder for all of you folks out there, early voting starts on the 18th. So you can begin early voting on the 18th. For God's sake, please vote. Please, 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 please vote. I don't know how to say it anymore. Be more.
And you're the only guy that's not out there saying, "Please vote for me."
Yes,
not running or anything.
That's right. I'm not asking you to vote for me. I'm just asking you to vote. That's right. Over the years, you've often heard me talk about my white brothers and sisters in the middle, and how I feel they have played a very important role in the past in some of most crucial situations, especially during the civil rights movement. Well, I just could not have been more proud of you on Sunday. You outnumbered that hate group, those hate groups out there, to the point that they were totally overwhelmed. And there was all kinds of people out there, but my white brothers and sisters showed up in force. They rejected hate. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you so much. You didn't disappoint me. I often say here that I think it's so, my white brothers and sisters in the middle are the key to the resolution of a lot of what ails us, because I truly believe they do not like hate, they do not like injustice, and while most of the time they sit quietly and say nothing, under the right set of circumstances, they will respond, and Sunday was one of those days. And again, thank you so much, because you gave the country. See, because there's people out there that are sitting and saying nothing, on the fence, not sure what they should believe or shouldn't believe. But that was such an overwhelming show against the hate mongers. If you was thinking about possibly siding with them, you may have pushed them back in another direction. That's why what you did Sunday was so important. Again, and the phone number is 340-1590. I welcome any thoughts you might have. I have to tell you, for those of you that are regular listeners, I have this ongoing dialogue with Conservative Steve. And Conservative Steve stopped by to see me the other day. And he was in my office for about 45 minutes. And most of you know I'm recovering from surgery. So I'm only working like a half a day still. I'm trying to get my way back up to a full day's work. But right now I'm still only working till 12 or 1 o'clock, because by that time I can't stay sitting anymore because of the pain. But so he came by and he sat and he talked with me, and he bought me one of his famous letters. I forgot to bring it with me. It's sitting on my desk. I finally sat down and had a chance to read it. But he asked me a question, and we're going to have open mic night tonight. And here's the question he asked me. We were talking about immigration, and I said the debate about immigration is probably one of the most dishonest things that we have had in America in a long time, because this is about the browning of America. People do not want the country to be browner. And he posed me with this question, and I think this is a very interesting question. His question to me was, can you think of any reason why it might be in the best interest of this country for it not to be browner, I sat back in my chair and I thought to myself, he didn't know it, but in my mind I'm going, I can't believe he just asked me that.
I wonder if he's feeling funny about it yet.
Well, no, listen, what I am learning from him is these are things that I think he was giving me a philosophical thought.
Yeah, but would philosophy be against me if I had a couple of grandchildren that are browner than I am, would I become maybe less thought of because of that right there?
Well,
is that?
Yeah, well, he
Is it in my best interest to not like my grandchildren because of this? Is that what the question was?
I think the question is he was trying to challenge me to see if I could think of any reason why it might be in the best interest of the United States not to become browner.
Right.
And I couldn't think of any. And then I said, there is no reason that I can think of that would make any sense on that. So, but anyway, I thought that was very interesting. So if you would like to comment on that, please, the phone number is 340-1590.
Yeah.
340-1590. And we got Steve on line one.
How you doing, Rudy?
Okay, Steve.
This is American Steve.
Yes.
Yeah, this is American Steve, not conservative, not liberal. I'm just American.
Yes, sir.
I'm also recovering from surgery. I got a brand new titanium knee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna drive them nuts at the TSA. I'll stick the knee in there and pull it back, stick it in, pull it back. My family, when we had the family portrait done, my 12-year-old granddaughter told one of her friends, because I married an American Indian, and my daughter married a Mexican, so my granddaughter is dark.
Right.
And she said, her friend said, well, who's that guy? She goes, oh, the white guy, that's my grandfather. Because we have Yamaguchi. I mean, we've got everybody. We've got Gonzalez. We got a Johnson. We got everybody. And one thing we learned about our whole family is we're family.
Yes.
Can't
I don't
get
care what
around
kind of
that.
suntan you got. You're still family.
Yes.
And America it has forgotten that.
Yes.
We are all chain migrated immigrants.
Yep.
Trump's dad was a Nazi. His mother was a Scot. They came in illegally before they were taken. And then his father-in-law just got American citizenship last week, father and mother-in-law.
Yeah.
His wife worked illegally for a year. They didn't deport her, ripped the kid away and put him in a cage.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think you're starting to see now what they call the blue wave that's coming.
Oh, yeah.
Last night in one district that Trump had won by 11 points, his candidate lost by a point. But that's a 12-point swing in 2 years. That tells me something. People are fed up.
Oh.
They've had enough.
They showed a picture last night on one of the news programs of a group of veterans in Mexico trying to figure out how to get back home. They served in the military and they were kicked out. They're
When you
American.
serve in the military, you automatically get citizenship.
You're supposed to, Steve.
Well, I'm sorry, I forgot. We're living in a neo fill in the blank, nation.
Try to find a reason
But
not to
Steve,
turn so brown.
I brought this up a couple of weeks ago. They are kicking out veterans.
If you've got the guts to go in and serve this country, then you deserve to be a citizen of this country. If you put your life on the line, You deserve it. I could show you a dozen people that were born here that I'd like to kick out.
Oh,
You know, they're useless.
The one last week that got me so aggravated, this guy did 3 tours in Afghanistan, and they kicked him out. And his wife and 3 kids are still here. 3 tours in Afghanistan, and then they kicked him out.
Look at Brennan today. The bleach blonde bozo took away his security clearance.
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah, he was the director of the CIA.
Yes.
I mean, this is nuts. And I think, though, America is starting to wake up. You know, I'm an old guy. I'll be 69 on Saturday. And by the way, I want a pony.
Okay.
But make sure it's housebroken because, you know, that would be really a disaster.
That's for sure.
But, you know, these guys, some of them were really, really hardcore right-wing a couple of years ago. And now I talk to them and they're going, you know, I could have been wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And I said to him, what do you mean could have been?
Oh, yeah.
And,
I'm hearing that too, Steve.
Yeah.
For the first time.
Yeah. I think you're going to see the House fall. And I even if the Senate don't fall, I want the House to go Democratic. Because then they'll be in charge of investigations. And you know that little greaser white guy from the South that's the big mouth from Benghazi?
Yeah, right.
He made a smart remark the other night, and I love the comeback to the guy. The guy says, you only got 2 more months of smart remarks, and then you're going to be on this side.
You're Gowdy you're talking about.
Yeah, Gowdy. Yeah.
From South Carolina.
What a waste of space, I'm telling you. But you're right. The country's starting to turn. They were all fired up, you know, because everybody wants to hear that the world's going to be a dream world. You know, you're going to have a job, you're going to have bridges, roads. Well, last night they announced on TV, if you make under $45,000, your tax break is $60. If you make $100,000, it's $535. If you make $1 million, it's $51,000. So I don't think that's going to go over very big with people.
Well, they finally started telling the truth.
Yeah, they actually put a graft up.
Yes, they finally started telling the truth. When this was going on and people like myself and yourself was trying to tell people, you're getting screwed, this is not going to help you, because there is still a sizable portion of this population that believes if you put the money in the top, it trickles down to the people in the bottom.
Yeah. That same guy that invented that theory, Ronald, brain-dead Reagan.
Yeah.
He also, if you remember, was the only president in history to give amnesty.
Yes, that's right.
And these people, first of all, Americans don't know their own history, by the way.
That's true.
Oh, bad memory. Either bad memory or revision.
Well, yeah, revise history. I had fun one night at a local wing place down here that's very popular, where I announced that I had a 10-question quiz, and anybody that could get 8 out of 10, I'd buy their dinner. I didn't buy anybody's dinner. And I asked really tough questions like, who's the lieutenant governor of Florida?
Yeah.
Or who's the representative in this district? Stuff like that. You know, really brain-stretching stuff that you'd stay up all night studying. And the guys that were with me, they were shocked. Because we had just gotten into the discussion, and I said, you know, USA is starting to stand for the useless, stupid American. They just, you know, oh, I can't vote. I got to go play golf. You know, stuff like that. Where I remember you and I are, well, I guess we're getting a little older. I can drink now, legally. I can remember in the 50s and 60s when we were the United States. Even if we disagreed, we were the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And people used to actually take to the streets. And what I say now is it used to be the government was scared of us. Now we're scared of the government. And it's going to turn the other way. That blue wave they're talking about, I suggest a lot of these right-wingers get life preservers. If they're going to need them.
Well, Steve, thank you. I have another call coming
Hey,
in.
Yeah.
You get better fast. I don't want to beat you to the best healed guy from surgery. I'll make your doctor look very bad.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you, Steve. And we got the other Steve on line 2.
Oh, yes, the other Steve. Hello.
Oh, man.
Yes, sir.
You know, Rudy, I really don't even know what to say. I mean,
Did I say anything that wasn't true?
yes, you did.
What did I say that wasn't true?
Okay, let's examine.
Wait a minute. I just want to know, did you ask me that question?
How did I ask that question? What was the purpose of the question?
Wait, did you ask me the question? Is
Don't-
there any
don't-
wait? Let me. Did you ask me the question? Is there any basis for why not browning of America might be advantageous?
And what was my preface to that? Because I think your memory's a little bad there. So explain what my premise was for you to do that.
You know how to talk.
Rudy, you just told people what I thought.
You know, I told them what you said.
No,
What
you
you're
didn't say
saying,
it.
what you're saying, did you say that or not? Just say yes
and-
or no.
and
Say
so
yes or no.
you're baiting
No,
the
no,
question.
no. You're going to say
Okay, I'm
yes
gonna say
or
yes.
no. You're going to say yes or no. Did you say that yes or no?
Question. I just said yes. I
Okay.
said, for the purpose of critical thinking, and I ask you, that's exactly what I said. I ask you, because you're the one that brought up Browning America, and I said, well, as a matter of critical thinking, I ask you, was there any reasons why that the Browning America would have reasons that would not be good?
Okay, now wait. Before
And-
we go any further, Cliff, when I started this explanation, what did I say about what he was trying to do when he asked me that question?
Well, basically, trying to. Well, that's a baited question in a way, because is there any justification for not browning of America? We're seeing it happen. It's happening everywhere.
Yeah, but
But
the
what would be
That's not what I'm saying.
but the point
And that's
that-
not what I said.
What you said, you did say that.
And actually,
Who used to say
Rudy,
that?
after we talked a little bit, you responded, well, yeah, I can see that there might be one problem. What problem did you say that would be?
I don't recall that.
You did. You said, I can see in education where it may be a problem.
No, what I said is there is one element of immigration that I think could create a financial hardship on us.
Okay, that's my point.
Thank you. Okay,
So-
so don't, if you're
so
going to
you
say
just
what
did-
I
you did-
said,
you
you got to get it right. I said there's one element where I think that there could be a problem, and that is in the area of education, because
You didn't-
those people that do not speak English, we have to provide additional support for them so that they can be educated.
Okay, but you did give a reason, and I did not even press it any farther than that. I just asked a question, and I said, as a matter of critical thinking.
But I did not say that was a reason for not the browning of America. I said,
you said
that
it was
as
a hardship.
I said
and that
that's
could be used as a hardship.
It could be a financial hardship.
Yeah.
Yes.
So fine there, but I do take that derogatory remarks and
There's nothing derogatory about
no,
the conversation.
Steve, the other Steve, when he comes on, he always tries to insult and other things.
It doesn't sound good for Steve.
Do you
to
have
be
something
versus
that you want to
Steve,
say
yeah.
in particular?
Yes, it's
Okay.
again. It's hard to have a discussion when you get misrepresented, and a way just to try to make your point, and do it all the time. And I'm sorry.
Did I misrepresent you?
You did misrepresent, and you have, because I wasn't saying one way or other. I said in possibility of critical thinking was there, and you couldn't come up with any except that one example.
That wasn't an example of not the Browning of America. That was an example of a potential financial hardship for immigration. That's it. And then if you remember how I followed that was that all of the money that immigrants pour into our country that they never get out.
Do you know that most of the immigrants send large proportions of their money to the countries from where they're from? It doesn't stay here, not as much, and I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing, but it is an exit of money of the United States. And they do that for very good reasons, for their families.
Yes, I am aware that there are some that do that. Yes, I am aware of that.
Yeah. I never. You're trying to make me sound as though I'm a racist, and that's what you think. And that's
Rudy,
the way.
you should never twist a man's arm and make him admit anything.
Yes,
always
I know.
Let them do it freely on their own.
But I have already been done that way many times. I haven't used that as an issue. My point being is, and
make your point. I'm not going to allow you to stay on here for 20 minutes.
Yeah, no hoeing and humming.
Okay.
Again, we're at a different place and a different time now. I'm going to have to organize my thoughts here because I thought I had a little different conversation than what we had.
Well,
and I thought, I was very appreciative of the conversation.
Yeah.
But now when I come back and the perception you try to make of me, first I'm stupid.
What did I said that would make somebody think you were stupid?
You said I can't basically believe he thinks this way many times.
Yes, I have. Yes, that's true.
And I don't know how anybody could think this way. Now, if I said that about you, or President Trump says that about somebody, it's considered a racist.
No, if you said that you don't understand how I could think that way, what I would suggest to you, if you were to say that to me about a particular issue, I would tell you why I think that way. And I would be able to explain to you why I think that way.
Then you could shout him down so he couldn't finish.
Okay, so you could always say to me, you don't understand why I think that way. So if you say to me, you don't understand why I think that way, I'm going to tell you why I think that way.
I'll be specific then. That one of your statements was that the Democratic Party is more liberal, more accepting, and more generally more compassionate party.
Today's Democratic Party.
And today's. And that you didn't understand a conservative point of view because basically the way you define conservatism it's basically racist. I mean, that's what you think the conservative movement is racist.
No.
But it's a motivation behind it. All the white people that are conservative and basically behind that are racist people.
No, okay? I don't believe that. If you think I think that, then you're wrong because I don't believe that.
Okay.
Okay.
Why does the Democratic Party stand on that philosophy of the Republican and conservative party?
Listen, what do you mean? I don't understand the question. State the question, and then this is your last question, and I'm going to move on. I got two other callers waiting.
Well, let them call in. That's fine, Rudy. But I'll have to organize my thoughts.
Okay, well, organize your thoughts and call me back.
And I'm just disappointed in the conversation because
I'm sorry that you're disappointed.
It was misinterpreted, and misunderstood and then misapplied, and then given another guy this opportunity to from my thoughts, from what you conveyed, to basically use insulting remarks about me or my thoughts, or try to push his point that I wasn't even trying to make. And
you
I don't appreciate
you just heard a whole lot of stuff that I haven't even. Okay, well, thank you anyway, but thank you for being a listener. I appreciate you. And we have Winnie on line one.
Yeah, Winnie.
Yes, Winnie.
Oh, how you doing?
Okay.
How you doing today, Rudy?
Okay.
What you think about that Amber Rose and Donald Trump? Like they going there, she say that he say the N word or something. Anyway, she wrote a book, wrote a book about it. But he say the N word, like, well, what you think about all that? You think they go impeach Donald Trump? I doubt it. I don't hear them saying they go impeach him. She say the N word or something. What you think about him and her, that carrying on, that drama they got going?
Well, I will have to say that him simply if he said use the N word, that is not a basis to have him impeached. I would fight anybody that wanted to impeach Donald Trump for using the N word. That is not a relevant, just way to consider impeachment. Do I think he should be impeached? The answer to that is yes, but not for that reason. And I would fight against anybody who said that they wanted to impeach Donald Trump for using the N word. That is wrong. That surprised you, didn't it? Didn't that surprise you just now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that took you off balance, didn't it? Because I'm a fair guy. That's not a relative reason to be. That's not a righteous reason to have somebody impeached. It's crass. He has no manners. It's impolite. I don't like it. But is that a basis for impeachment? No.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Okay, all righty. Thank you.
All right, then. Thank you, bye.
Okay, all right. And Frank on line 3.
Frank. Hey, Frank.
How you doing?
Okay.
Yeah, I was just driving around, heard the radio, and I heard one of your previous callers called Trey Gowdy, quote, a greaser from the South.
Yeah, okay.
You guys both laughed at that, and that's just not productive.
I was a greaser.
Trey Gowdy deserves some respect.
Okay.
That's the way I feel about that. All right, have a nice evening.
Okay, all right.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I didn't say it, but I can understand how he would feel as a conservative, not happy about that description of Trey Gowdy. Okay, I get it. So, listen, a couple other issues here. Let me first say this. I've been on here for almost 9 years. I think it's 9 years. And after 9 years of listening to me, if you think that I think anybody that is conservative is a racist, you better go to the bathroom and get some Q-tips and flush your ears out, because you haven't been listening to me. Because I do not think anybody that's conservative is a racist. And in fact, one of the things that I have said on this show over and over and over again is that you have the ability to attract African Americans to the Republican Party, but you don't because you do dumb stuff that drives them away. Because there's a lot of things that Republicans and conservatives have in common with some of the core beliefs of black people that would be attractive. So please do not ever say Rudy Howard thinks anybody that's conservative is a racist, because that's just not true. Okay, I got that off my chest now. Uh, here's the here. If you heard the other day, the stand your ground law for that case over in Clearwater was overturned. If anybody saw the video, and I am so sad that what's going to happen with this is going to turn into another tribalism fight. Although I do understand one of the candidates for governor on the Republican side said it was not a stand your ground case. If you see the if you see the video of what happened, the guy comes out of the store. He pushes the guy who is confronting his girlfriend or wife and with his 3 kids standing there. The guy, after he hits the ground, rolls over, pulls his gun out, and he shoots the man. Okay? There is no evidence, and I said this the first time I saw it, that the man that pushed him down was on the attack. To the contrary, he appeared to be retreating. Now, I'm going to say something very controversial. Ha! Surprise! How about that?
Controversial here?
Me saying something controversial.
No.
I think stand your ground is a wimp law. It is for wimps. Because when I was growing up, and I'm 67 years old, you better be able to take care of yourself. You ain't pull out a gun. If somebody did something you didn't like or confronted you or physically accosted you, defend your damn self. Now, it's easy to pull out a gun. You pull out a gun and shoot somebody because, and in my opinion, that's, and listen, I'm going to admit that a lot of my friends have concealed weapon carries that otherwise might not, just because these days and times you're afraid not to have one. But that's my opinion. And like I said, I was kind of relieved that one of the Republicans, candidates for governor, said it was not a stand your ground case, because this is going to turn into another tribal battle, and this should not be a tribal battle at all. This is about, was it or wasn't it? And if you look at the tape, just like when the prosecutor looked at the tape, the guy was not going after him, he was retreating. Now, and I'm just going to ask you, okay, and I want you to be him for a second, okay? There's a very famous scene. There's a very famous section in the book, A Time to Kill, and when the attorney is doing his summation, he tells the jury to close their eyes and to paint the young lady that was accosted by these 2 crazy white guys as a white girl instead of a black girl, and then make a judgment on what you think should be done. Now, I'm going to ask you to do a very similar thing. I want you, if you've seen that tape, tell me how you would react, and forget color for a second. If you came out of the store, you saw somebody confronting your wife and your 2 kids were there, what would you do? 340-1590. 340-1590. What would you do?
We're probably looking for a better scenario than what actually occurred. If anybody would think differently about things and perhaps treat the situation differently, would you?
Yeah. I've thought about that. I've thought about that very carefully, and I will tell you, the conclusion that I come to is that if I came out and my wife was in that situation, I don't know that I would have pushed him down, but I can tell you one thing. I would have been in his face. I would have got between him and my wife in his face. Nose to nose. He would have stopped addressing my wife. I would have stopped him. Now, if it had escalated when I got between him and my wife, then it just would have escalated. And Jay, on line one. Yes, sir.
How you doing, Rudy?
Okay.
Good. Yeah, if that was me, I would have did the same thing that gentleman did. But when that law was enacted, I remember when I heard it on the radio, and I was very disgusted, and I knew exactly why it was put in law, because of the conservatives running Tallahassee. You know, they go along with the NRA and anything to sell guns. They even talked about having a silencer, you know, where everybody can, if you want to get a silencer. They were talking about that about a year ago.
Yes, I remember that.
And could you imagine? But the thing that gets me is I remember going down to Sanford when Trayvon Martin was murdered. And, the rally, they had a big rally there with National Action Network and the NAACP actually in it. This branch, we got a bus and we went down. And it was just so sad. And every time I think about it, I think about that jury. How could they not find Zimmerman guilty? I could not figure that one out. Because it was just obvious what he was doing. And just like this gentleman here, he had a history of intimidating people, going around, bothering people about parking and different things, like he was a wannabe cop. Just like Zimmerman, he was a wannabe cop also.
Yeah.
It's like these people come out, they got this attitude. Maybe they just don't qualify, or they don't have the smarts or whatever it is to be a policeman or be a deputy or whatever they want to be in law enforcement.
But that doesn't stop them from wanting to be Dirty Harry, right?
Yeah. So then they go around intimidating people, doing things to create havoc, and then pulling out the gun. That's why, right to the day, I was talking to a buddy of mine from New York. He said he was thinking about moving. Then he thought about the stand your ground law, and he didn't want to move down here. I said that's why I made it my mind not to look at anybody with this road rage. If they're behind me and trying to push me or move me out the way and blowing a horn and giving me the finger, I move to the right and I don't even look at them, because I know what's going on. I know what they're trying to do, and it's so sad that most people can't understand that it's all about intimidation. And you got these neo-Nazi groups and all of these right-wingers and these Klansmen. They're training. I saw a documentary on PBS the other night about how they train to do these things, to intimidate and shoot and kill and beat up people, like they did in Charlotte, and kill the young lady with the car. And it just goes on and on and on. And these politicians fall for it. And I was really surprised to know that the law enforcement in the state of Florida goes along with the Stand Your Ground and the NRA. Law enforcement, now, they're the ones that are on the front line, and they go along with the NRA and the Stand Your Ground law. And I was just very disappointed in listening to that, because they're the ones that going to be the ones that supposed, they claim they want to go home every night. They don't want to be a victim of somebody shooting them, something like that. But what else could happen with the way they're trying to create let everybody have guns and silencers and all kind of weaponry, AR, 15s and all that kind of stuff. So what do they expect? It's going to be mayhem. And in school, that's why I was so proud of these youngsters there at that school down there near. Yeah. That they got out and they went out, and then they were just disgusted because the adults wasn't doing anything. So they just started jumping and say, we want everybody to vote, and we want children should be able to register at 17. When they become 18, they can vote. They should have their name on the voting rolls. And they that's what they were doing all around the country, just doing their thing. And I'm just so proud of them. They got more guts than the adults, the way they were going, and they were getting threats too.
Jay, you know what? Let me tell you something that makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Because you and I are about the same age.
Right.
Why can't there be automatic voter registration? There was automatic draft registration.
Right.
Why? Why can't we have that?
You know why? You know why they do it. In some states they have that.
They do.
You know,
yes.
some states have it. The reason why and when you have conservative governors and the conservatives running the legislature, they look at the numbers and they know that if everybody voted, if everybody was really, like in some countries, 75% of the population vote, they know that they wouldn't get elected. They just know that. And so what they have to do, they have to put in all these little restrictions. I was very upset with Gertrude Walker because I heard her on one of the stations giving out the rules and saying if you don't vote in consistent elections, they take your name off the voting roll. That's part of purging a person's roll. You're an American citizen. There should be no reason why you should not. Your name should always be on that voting roll unless you go down there and tell them that you moved to a different. You're not in the same voting area.
That
you're be at a different polling place.
That wasn't Gertrude. That came from
that came from the state. I know it came.
Right. Right.
But I was just I was just a little disgusted. She didn't explain it the way she should have and said, well, this is what they're doing, and you got to be very careful because it really is a form of purging your vote. They take it once they take your name off the vote and you go in, you got to vote a provisional, and with a provisional ballot, it's not the same as a regular ballot.
Yeah.
And all of this is it's all part of a strategy, and this is what's going on now. Most people don't even think about it, but they talk about Russia, but they've been doing this since back there with Gore and Bush.
Well, but you know what? Let me tell you, when this really changed, it really changed when Obama won for the first time. Mm-hmm. Cause and I've had some of my callers really get mad at me for saying this, but it's the truth. I'm getting ready to tell you. Obama was the first time in the history of the United States the majority white folks did not get who they voted for office.
Right.
President Obama won because Hispanics and Asians and blacks pushed him over the top. Mm-hmm. That really upset some folks. And here's my argument that I get so mad with the conservatives about. Okay, why jury rig the system? Beat us with ideas, for God's sake. That's the purpose and the creation of what America's all about. You're supposed to beat us with ideas. If you want us to follow your philosophy, present us with ideas that make us want to follow your philosophy, not try to jury rig the system so you can have your way. That's not the way to do it. Because guess what? When we were getting our butts kicked back in the 80s, we had to make some changes about our philosophy. And we did. So I don't know, but anyway, Jay, thank you.
I just want to say this one thing about also Gertrude should have mentioned.
Yes.
Do away with that touch screen. Anything that's dealing with a computer where there's no paper trail, you don't need that because that's how votes get screwed up and they can play with them. And I don't know if they said the Russians kind of infiltrated in Georgia because Georgia doesn't have any paper. They don't have a scanner like we do.
Yeah.
They do everything by touch screen. And it's sad because they can control who's going to be elected and who's not.
Well, thank you, Jay. Appreciate
Take
you.
care. All right,
okay.
my pleasure.
Carlos on line 2, my friend.
Rudy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Simmer down. I don't want you having a heart attack, buddy. if you have a heart attack, who can I argue with on Wednesday? You follow what I'm saying? Simmer down. All I tell you, Rudy, you got a clean record. Go out and get a gun. And I come from the Bronx. You don't need a silencer. Just put a 20-ounce Pepsi bottle in front of it. Thank you and have a nice day and simmer down.
Oh, wisdom from Carlos.
Hey, let's take a little break.
Okay. Well, all this drama going on out there.
Yeah, we only got a few minutes left, but if you want to call in, that number is 340-1590. 340-1590. I'd like for you to tell me, do you think the Russia investigation is unfair? Don't you touch that dial. We got about 10 minutes left.
Unfair because collusion's not illegal? Oh.
Serving the entire Treasure Coast, Howard Insurance and Associates in Port St. Lucie offers a wide variety of insurance products, along with the very best customer service. Whether you're shopping for the best homeowners coverage at the most affordable value, contact Rudy Howard's team at Howard Insurance and Associates. If you need coverage for your vehicle, call Howard Insurance and Associates, 343-9878. That's 343-9878. Maybe you're planning to add a boat, motorcycle, or RV. Call Howard Insurance and Associates for your free quote at 343-9878 and get the coverage you need at a cost that will fit your budget. For home or business, auto, or recreational vehicle, choose Howard Insurance and Associates, 600 Southwest Darwin Boulevard, Suite 206, Port St. Lucie. And for your free rate quote, call them at 343-9878, 343-9878.
The Marlins travel to Atlanta Monday through Wednesday nights, moving on to Washington Friday night and Saturday afternoon on WSTU. The New York Mets visit Philly Saturday afternoon at 4 and Sunday night at 7 on WPSL. The St. Lucie Mets give way to the Miami Dolphins on Friday the 17th. Mets Marlins and ESPN Baseball 2018 is brought to you by Treasure Coast Lexus of Fort Pierce, Treasure Coast Toyota of Stewart, Code Red Roofers, Nice Air, and the Quit Dog Foundation of Martin County on both WPSL and WSTU.
WPSL 1590, WSTU 1450, and La Gigante 1330 will present primary election coverage Tuesday, August 28th from 7 to 11 p.m. Join WSTU News Director Mike Thomas together with political expert Casey Ingram, former Port St. Lucie Councilman Jack Kelly, Carol Wyatt, Barry Grant at the Martin County Election Center, and Cliff Desmond handling YouTube. Tuesday, August 28th. Join us, your Treasure Coast family of talk stations, from 7 till 11 p.m.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
And now, the final segment of tonight's African American Scene. Once again, here's your host, Rudy Howard.
And listen, I have been saying for some time, we have to do something about this tribalism. We are now at a point, and I'm not the only one that feels this, that the tribalism thing has become somewhat dangerous, in my opinion. I think that some of us are so deeply entrenched in the tribe that it is borderlining on a point where I'm concerned there could be an eruption of violence, and that's not helpful. And one of the things that I think will help us get out of it, I saw something from Robert Reich. And Robert Reich is also, if you know who he is, he was Secretary of Labor under Bill Clinton. He feels that it's important for us to try to overcome it. And one of the ways that he feels that we can do that is we have to dialogue, and we have to dialogue with people who have different points of view than our own, which is one of the things that we do here each Wednesday night. And I would tell you that the thing that keeps me coming back here when I'm tired, sometime when I'm hurt, or I'm recovering from a surgery or an injury, is I feel it's imperative that we have an outlet where people can talk, people can voice their concerns about some of the things that bother them that otherwise don't exist, especially on the Treasure Coast right now. And I don't mean to say this in any way to brag. There is no show like this anywhere on the Treasure Coast. Zero. None. Where you get a local person that talks to you about current topics on a national or local level, and you get a chance to provide your input. I think there are people that listen, and I had one guy, I think his name is Edward Gaines, who is a regular listener. He got very frustrated with me because he is a strong Trump believer and wants to know why I can't see my way clear to give him the benefit of doubt, and thinks that was very unfair. Well, it's very interesting when I hear people say that, because I used to wonder the same thing all the time when President Obama was in office, why he never could get the benefit of the doubt. But in any event, the point here is that, as Robert Reich said, the key to trying to end some of our tribalism is being able to talk to each other. But here's the real important thing. Remember that God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Ooh, we should do twice as much listening as we do talking, shouldn't we?
We need to listen. We need to really listen to what the other party has to say and try to understand how the other party feels. I can tell you, for example, I was literally brought to tears when I found that guy had served 3 terms in Afghanistan. They kicked him out from his wife and 3 kids. Tears formed in my eyes. I was so upset. That was so unfair. And I don't know how anybody could see a sense of fairness in that. He put his life on the line for the United States of America, and then you kicked him out. Wow. I don't get that. But any event. So listen, I thank you so much for taking your precious time to tune into the African American scene and listen to me run my mouth and listen to my listeners who share their opinions with you. God bless, be safe, and I will see you next Wednesday right here for the African American Scene.
The African American Scene with Rudy Howard is presented by Howard Insurance. And archives of this show and every show is available on YouTube. Go to www.wpsltv.com. That'll take you to our wpsltv.com site, YouTube, where you'll find all previous episodes of the African American Scene. Larry Elder, the Sage, is coming up next. This is WPSL, Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast, celebrating 25 years and counting. It's 7 o'clock.